Hello, welcome to another Friday here at Melbourne Retreat House, and happy St. Joseph's Day. It has arrived in this wonderful year of St. Joseph. So St. Joseph's Day in the year of St. Joseph here at Melbourne Retreat House, St. Joseph in the Hills. This has to be an important day for us, and it is. And I'm pleased as the president of the Retreat House to be able to share a little reflection with you. One of the concepts of St. Joseph is Joseph as a spiritual father. Now, that is an image that is very important to us in the sense of, well, Jesus looked to Joseph. One of the beautiful thoughts about Jesus looking to Joseph is from his first breath, from his first sight. We sometimes can think of Joseph as the foster father of Jesus. But when Jesus opened his eyes and cast a gaze to Joseph, he didn't say, "Oh, this is my foster father." But in his heart of a baby, he was able to say, "Abba, Daddy, you are my father." So if Jesus is our brother and we look to Mary as our mother, Joseph has a very, very special role as father, as our spiritual father. And you may have heard me before say how much I love this image of the Holy Family. This image of Mary and Jesus and Joseph just wrapping his arms around his wife and his child reminds us not only of Joseph's care for the Holy Family, but Joseph as the patron of the universal church wrapping his arms around us as a spiritual father. And God the Father wrapping his arms around all of us as brothers and sisters, as part of the family of God. It's interesting for me when I think about the concept of father and spiritual father to recognize that Joseph was not the biological father of Jesus, but yet he was the father of Jesus in every other way. He was in a personal relationship. Joseph was authoritative. He was the moral guide for Jesus. But he was also the affectionate father, the loving father. As you may know, my own children, the 5-year-old twins, are adopted. And I remember very clearly, soon after their birth, when my wife and I were holding them for the first time, God just put it into my heart. My goodness, this is my child. This is the one, these are the ones that God has prepared for us from the beginning of time to become family. And as the father of the family, I can't imagine life without my two beautiful daughters. I can't imagine that life could be anything but them as our family, as them as our daughters. And it reminds me of what Joseph was also called to be, that I'm called to be, as any father is called to be, someone who will provide all what is needed for a child, to really protect that child, to offer protection, to feed, to clothe, to shelter, to educate, to correct. That is a responsibility of father. And that is the responsibility that Joseph had with Jesus. And somebody may say, well, Joseph wouldn't have had to correct Jesus because Jesus was without sin. But I think in the sense of correction, it's Joseph who set the moral standard. He gave Jesus the example of how to conduct himself as a man. He helped Jesus understand what are the kind of the guide rails to life. How to speak, how to present himself. It's very interesting that we live in a world right now that is challenged and in a crisis in so many ways. We know that we're surrounded by so much that is great about technology and the modern world. There's so many discoveries, but yet along with that, there's this tendency that we're always rubbing up against to kind of rely on ourselves. And as we rely on ourselves, we start looking in the wrong places for our happiness. And enter then, unfortunately, an awful lot of opportunity for sin. And Joseph, I believe, is the one that we can turn to say to us, men especially, but women as well, show us how to conduct ourselves correctly. Show us what are those guardrails. Joseph, intercede for us so that we can have that personal relationship with Jesus. Joseph, intercede for us so that we can understand how to really let ourselves be wrapped in this grace of love. How to say yes to the sacraments, how to clothe ourselves with the love and grace of Jesus and the intercession of Mary. So that as we face those challenges in the world around us, first of all, the ordinary challenges of just life, just the everyday stuff of life, we can look at it with a hopefulness that, as we hear in Romans, that Abraham from the very beginning had a sense of hope against hope, that what he was promised by God will be fulfilled. so that there was purpose and meaning that was something bigger than just the drudgery of life, that we were going to something more. And Abraham had that sense of, yes, I'm being called. I have a purpose. So do we. And if we have that call and purpose, and we recognize that that is why we are created, that we are created for something very special, to love and serve God, but to bring His love to others around us, then it creates for us kind of a moral responsibility that we say, oh, you know what? This emptiness around us, this void, this sin that so easily can pull us in, is not for us. That's not where we grow. That's not what we seek in life, because it's a dead end. It's emptiness. It just drags our heart and our life down. I know that I want to be for my children, my daughters, someone that will instill in them purpose and dignity, that they can understand that they are creations of God, and they have something greater than just this finiteness here in this world. That what they become, what they dream, what they long for, is part of participation in the creation of the world, and part of the participation of helping others get closer to God and get closer to Jesus and get to heaven in whatever they do in life. I want them to see that through me, so that their lives can be directed to the Lord. So I look to Joseph for that. There's so much more that I can share, and I will share more this coming Sunday in our reflection, our monthly reflection about Joseph at 3 o'clock in Upper McShane. But in the meantime, I want to leave you with this thought. Joseph in a dream. We see in the Gospel, the first chapter of St. Matthew. Joseph in a dream was disturbed. First of all, he was disturbed because he found that Mary was expecting a child. Talk about hard, tough issues to deal with in life. But in a dream, he was reassured that he should take Mary into his home. Wrap his arms around Mary and Jesus to give them a home. But he was also told, you will give him a name. You should give him the name. You should call him Jesus. To be able to give someone a name is powerful, because that name represents who they are. That name recognizes them as a person. And in this case, set apart. To be able to give my children a name was a powerful, significant moment in my life, in the life for my wife and me. God has given you and me a name. And he wants us to live in that name. He wants us to live in that dignity so that we don't just fade away. But with a name, we are identified. We are identified as his, belonging to him. And looking to Joseph is a reminder of where we should be and where we should be going with that name. Maybe as we celebrate this feast of St. Joseph, I just want to share with you, think a little bit about what is your name? What does God call you? My beloved? My child? My precious one? And how much love, affection, care, even correction, and provision that he brings to us and wraps around us, wraps around you. You have been set apart. You have been called by name. St. Joseph, please intercede for us on this holy special day. Intercede for our brothers and sisters who are listening, who are watching this video, so that they know they are loved, that you call them by name, Lord, that you call all of us by name, and you want us to be filled with life to the full. And that we know if we let ourselves go, if we let ourselves be wrapped in your arms, we will be protected, we will be provided for, we will be set apart, and we will be drawn closer to you if we only say yes. Thank you, Lord, for Melbourne Retreat House. Thank you for life, for the life of our brothers and sisters who are with us and united with us through this video. Give us your peace and let us see your face. Thank you. I'll pray for you. Pray for me. Pray for Melbourne Retreat House. We'll pray for one another. I love you. I thank you. Prosit.